Did you teach him wisdom as well as valor, Ned? Did you teach him how to kneel? Imagine being as cucked as Catelyn Stark. Hello, everyone. Welcome to KHANTEHNT. I'm Bestie Guy Ever.
And I'm DigiNay, and we have just watched the first 6 episodes of the worst-rated show of the season on my anime list.
It truly is tales from the bottom of the Mal seasonal anime charts. Ninja Collection.
I was immediately expecting something like Kantai Collection.
Yeah.
Or Princess Collection.
There are elements of that.
I think there's a Samurai Collection. Sengoku Collection. That's what I'm thinking of. But this was very different from what I could have possibly seen coming. It's a sub-series of Yamishibai, which is a series of short horror, basically folk Japanese horror, but in the modern day in Tokyo. Regular people just like finding, oh, there's a bunch of hair coming out of my sink. What the fuck's going on? And then the music gets scary, and it turns out it was a monster. And then they're like, this is the Japanese folktale of the hair thing. And so this is sort of the same thing, the same concept. 4-minute episodes, weird Japanese folk-ish horror, I guess. Except whereas in Yamishibai, it's like, you know, they'll explain to you like, oh, this was the Naparabo demon, you know. In this show, instead, a scary thing happens, and then a ninja shows up and kills the scary thing, and the episode ends.
There is, as opposed to any emphasis on Japanese folklore and whatnot, the emphasis here seems to be on, like, maybe potentially cool ninjas. Like, character designs that have slightly more effort put into them than the generic background characters of this, like, Uzumaki writer. What's that guy's name? Reminds me of that guy. Junji Ito. I mean, I'm just saying the characters are as boring looking as the normal humans in that. Right. And then they get saved by slightly more anime-looking ninja people.
There's definitely,
who whoosh around.
It's funny because Yamishibai does use like very normal looking characters. This does as well, except for the
weird ninja anime heroes.
Yeah, and so like Yamishibai has fairly like normal looking characters and naturalistic voice acting. And that all carries over into this show. The characters sound like just regular Japanese people, look like regular Japanese people, except the ninjas, who are these pretty anime boys swooping in to save the day. It's really odd though because there's so little emphasis placed on the ninjas, to the point that in episode 4 we don't even see the one, or 5. It just stabs through the wall, and we just see like an anime eye through the hole in the wall, and that's it.
That was the best moment of the actual anime. But we'll go into that in depth when we get to episode 5. We watched 6 episodes of these mercifully 4-minute long episodes. I mean, there's no way they could have stretched this out with the amount of content that is here. But I mean, you've got such amazing premises as there is smoke at school. Premise 1. Premise 2. Now, I thought this was a little controversial for 2020. Those creepy gays.
That's true.
Creepy gays.
There were some creepy
Japan.
gays.
It's night at the pool. Insanity ensues. The beautician. There's a ninja beautician. Okay. There is a stain. I think this was the legendary through the wall moment. I don't know. That might have been the best. That was a little creepy. Things going on that one. Yeah. And then Shady and Woosher, which are
Shady and Woosher,
which are like a child's term for the demons and the wooshy ninjas who whoosh in. So I mean, and really, those descriptions of episodes basically sum up everything that actually happens in a given episode, because there are no characters of note in any of these. There's usually the victim and the ninja who shows up, who may or may not be like a full-fledged character.
And the demon, I guess.
And sure, if you want to call it.
In the barber episode, it was actually just a ninja kills a demon.
That's true. In like flashbacks, we saw the deep backstory of this girl has a friend or is pretending to be the friend of another character.
Yeah, I mean, that one was actually kind of confusing because after she reveals herself to be the demon, it's like, well, why did she have the emotions she was having as the human in the chair and say the things she said?
That's a great question.
You know.
Okay, let's just address these one at a time. All right, we'll see how much we have to say about each episode.
Yeah.
Episode
wait,
1.
Before you do that, I want to know, do you think this show is as bad as they say?
Great question. I believe this had like a 3.9 something on Mal. It was the lowest rated show, of course, as is implied by the title of the show. I'd give it a 3 or something. It feels about right.
I feel like it's not wrong for it to have the score it has, but like when I compare it to other stuff on Mal, like, did I get more out of watching this than I did out of the Goblin Slayer movie? Possibly. Like,
you think so?
I would maybe give this like a 4, and it's mostly because there are interesting things about it that I mostly think carry over from Yami Shibai, which is like, again, the naturalism of the designs and voices. There's some decent facial expressions sometimes, despite the fact there's almost no animation in this.
You can tell why, like your average seasonal anime watcher would see this and say, "I hate this. I don't want to watch this."
And it tends to happen with these, like, with all the little 5-minute shorts, and especially ones that have, like, you know, maybe not the greatest animation. People will usually score it very lowly because they're thinking about it in terms of like comparing this to the average anime. And it's like, I think the goals of it are very different. It's, you know, it's obviously made on a low budget. With
to be fair, though, it does kind of lead you in with, like, hot anime boys, which Yami Shibai can get away with not doing because it doesn't even try.
You are absolutely right. And yeah, it's weird that it puts so much emphasis on the guys in the marketing, and then like you watch the story, like, this is a horror anthology. Like, why are they? Why is the pretty boy ninjas? Like, what does that have to do with the tone of the show? Like,
and, I mean, it's fascinating. I may have not have seen Yami Shibai. I can't remember, but the fact that this exists as a spin-off, and you were telling me that there's actually a number of spin-offs of the show. I think
I think there's like 8 seasons of the show, and there's definitely other spin-offs. It's one of those, because like this has sort of been a trend in Japan the last 10 years or so, is like these sort of you know, like either net shorts or just like little TV animations that are aimed at more normal people who are not necessarily like watching it to see great animation. They're just like watching it to see Japanese horror, you know.
This would fill up 4 minutes of my TV watching day.
Right.
Reasonably satisfactory. I wouldn't be angry after seeing these.
They're not offensive to me, which is I guess why like the score being as low as it is kind of like, okay, well, I'm not, but like,
I'm comfortable saying this is a below average anime.
Definitely
I feel
below average.
With that.
Definitely. I guess it's just that like I know there is something else from the season that probably deserves to be scored lower than this, and that I think that the limited animation will probably give people even worse of like, oh, this is just like absolute garbage because it looks bad, you know. It's garbage for other reasons than that it looks bad. It's garbage because it is borderline incomprehensible. I guess the only real compliments I have for it is like there's decent facial expressions and like it can set an eerie tone. Like the episodes are paced kind of well, but that's like it. That's all I could say. Decent pacing, decent tone, decent faces sometimes. Everything else about it is fucking
This reminds
retarded.
me. I was cruising Netflix a while back, and I stumbled across a show. I forget the name of it. Maybe you remember. The premise is they take like those one-sentence horror stories, like baby shoes for sale, never worn, or whatever.
That was intended to be a horror story, but
well, no. Well, okay. That just as an example. There's some like one-sentence horror story things, and they converted those into episodes. There's a show that exists. I can't remember what it is. Those I watched a couple of those, and they were bad. Of course they were, because built on this premise, you know, they weren't all terrible, but a lot of them were fairly thin. Of course they would be. They're built on one sentence. And I felt like I would rather, I think, no, I can't even say I'd rather watch this, because there really is nothing to, like, I could watch Yami Shibai and probably enjoy that. This doesn't have that, because it is just something bad happens, and anime ninja, who may or may not even be a character with a backstory, appears.
Yeah, and to go through the first episode, so like, in the first episode, the main character, he's just a kid sitting at school, and he starts seeing black smoke outside the window, and he's like, everybody, don't you see? There's black smoke, and they're all just kind of laughing at him, and they don't see it.
Yeah.
And then it starts coming in, and it's like invading everybody and getting inside of them, and they all turn into zombies, and they're like coming at him. Ninja guy comes, cuts it up, he saves the day, I guess, And then everybody's like back to normal and they're laughing at him again.
Yeah.
He's just like, what the fuck? And at the end of the episode, he goes to Ninja Guy's classroom and sees that he's like, I don't know, got the smoke inside of him. He swallowed it or something.
I don't know what that was about.
So with that episode, I actually felt like there was some level of meaningful metaphor in that, like, this is, like, if you're somebody who's, you know, maybe like a more emotionally sensitive person, you might view society as this black smoke that's rising to take everybody out, you know.
I think a lot of that
and, like,
is coming from in you as opposed from the writers.
That's, I mean,
much.
I looked at it like, okay.
Not that that's a problem.
Like,
but...
it reminded me of the opening, if you've ever seen Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah.
In the first episode when she's in class and like everything just becomes like hazy and slowly shifts and becomes cloudy and stuff as she like just, you know, dissociates from her surroundings. And so at first I was like, this is like a horror version of that, of like, okay, like everybody else doesn't recognize the thing that you recognize that is terrorizing everybody around you, and they're all inhaling it. They're just gladly taking it in, and, you know, and you're like, no, you're not supposed to breathe that stuff. That stuff will kill you. But they're like, what are you talking about? You know, like, I understand that kind of horror psychologically, but the way it's resolved is a ninja comes in and blows it away.
There's not much to the metaphor there,
No.
I would argue. The ninja is our inner strength, our inner society.
So, and then it's kind of presented like almost, each episode will be almost like a, ooh, did that really happen? But then there's some evidence that it did, you know? And so, like...
But they dropped that pretty quickly. No, it happened. Why did it happen? How did... See, in episode 1, the fact that what I would get in a normal, like, shonen would become the main character because he can see the demons and others can't. He's gone. That's never addressed. That doesn't build anything.
No.
Ninjas.
Each episode is a completely different character and a completely different ninja. So episode 2 is just like a lady who's at the office and like just basically starts tweaking the fuck out because she thinks that she's like seeing or hearing something, and then there's like a guy creepily cleaning the windows, and then
in her
suddenly
defense, it was a demon.
Suddenly she's outside and she's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And like, this is another one where like it's resolved and then it's kind of presented like, did that really happen, right?
Yeah.
And at this point I was starting to think, is this all meant to be like a metaphor for like just paranoia in general? Just like, because almost every episode is somebody just starts freaking out about something.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, what the fuck is going on? I heard a sound. And then like some demon will show up and a ninja will kill it. And then we get to episode 3, I think. Is that the pool party?
Episode 3 is the pool, yeah.
That was when it was like, okay, well now it's, there's no metaphor, because it's just this girl's at a party.
She's just at a pool party.
Her
Is it
friend-
social anxiety? She misses her friends?
Her
Date
friend
rape?
goes off to hang out with some guy, and I don't know, maybe she becomes paranoid about that, but then like literally like the lights go off, everybody disappears, there's a fucking water monster in the pool, there's a battle with a water monster. It's implied it really happened.
I guess the metaphor could persist that it represents her particular anxiety. Like she's
It just isn't portrayed that way. She doesn't seem anxious about anything at the time. It's just like she gets a text from the girl that says like, meet us down at the docks or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that real? Was that hallucinated? Like, if that was real, she needs to do something about that probably, because her friend is definitely getting like,
if we checked her phone
trafficked.
after it was resolved, is that text still there or not?
Yeah.
That's the question I would love to have answered, but
me as well.
alas.
So that was the episode where I kind of like started to check out, because I was like, all right, I don't know what this show's going for. Like, I thought there might be something here, but it's...
Well, let's move right along to episode 4, The Beautician,
Yes.
where girl goes in for a haircut because her friend got a haircut from this guy, and her personality changed. She started avoiding her. It was weird. She goes to get a haircut. The beautician is giving her a haircut. There's these creepy eyes that appear everywhere. And the eyes, as it is revealed, are wards of evil spirits, because the girl is the demon who is trying to consume the girlfriend who had gotten that haircut and apparently had been given the ward of evil. And then the hair guy executes her because he is the ninja of the episode. Yeah. And we were playing along with the villain, the demon, all along. Where's the metaphor here? Your guess is as good as mine. There's not much to it.
Nope. That one was just straightforward. A guy kills a demon.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one's like, a guy moves into a new house with his friend, like helps him out. Then there's like a bloody stain.
Now see, I'm following. When you move to a new place, if there's bloody stains in like your new apartment, especially in a shitty part of town, which it's clearly stated this is, I could see having anxiety about that and being worried. Clearly, that's the horror element they're tapping into. Sure, works. So it goes upstairs to see what the stain is, and there's an outline of a dead body in the thing above. And so he goes back down to sleep it off, to run from the nightmare. But then the stain from the ceiling starts dripping, and blood is pooling, and then it goes full sicko mode, and the whole apartment starts coming to life. And there, and he had previously seen a crack in the wall because it's a shitty apartment. And then, as the demon begins to reach out to grab him, shink, through the crack in the wall comes a sword, which stabs and kills the demon. And we must conclude that this neighbor, at this time of day, every day, through this crack in the wall, just a little boom, and stabs the demon that possesses this room.
The demon,
and that's epic.
The one thing that was sort of like animated, it had like a smoke effect kind of thing.
Yeah. There's some trippy effects that episode. There was like a weird galaxy swirl thing going on. That looked kind of nice.
Then we had episode 6 was
Shady and Woosher in the kindergartner, whatever.
There's like a kid who's just like, he looks too old to be drawing like into kid. He looks too old to be a kindergartner drawing with a crayon. But
that's how I draw still, though.
Like he tells like the kindergarten teacher like, there's these Shady and Wooshy, and then Shady and Wooshy show up.
Yeah.
And they have it out. They fucking have a whole battle.
The kid says his dad told him, don't go near Shady. He's bad, but Woosher will save you. And then at the end, after the lady gets saved by the Woosher ninja with the scar, the dad comes to pick up his son or whatever, and the dad has the scar. He's the ninja. Oh!
I do like that they actually went and made a dad ninja.
I like that. And that's the first actual character, and it's Dad Ninja.
Yeah.
I like it.
I will maybe remember Dad Ninja, and unlike all the other ninjas who we know nothing about,
if he showed up in another episode, I think to myself, I'm glad to see him again. I wonder how his boy is doing. Did he pass his drawing exam? I don't know.
Will he grow up to be a Woosher too one day? Maybe.
Who knows?
Time will only tell. He doesn't have a weird hair color, so probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, there's this text crawl at the beginning of each episode that is like in the Reiwa era. Which for some reason is framed in like Japanese era's ninja thing, I guess. I don't know. There's ninja, an ancient ninja art, an ancient shinobi art continues to be practiced to fight against like the darkness of the modern age or something like that. So ninja techniques are a metaphor for coping with the modern world.
Sure.
Worked in Naruto and it works now.
I guess it's just like, I see this as very Japanese normcore kind of media. It's like, are you stressed out after a hard day of work and you don't want to confront your stress in any meaningful way? Instead, look at a very abstract metaphor and be reassured that some pretty boy will save you, I guess. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I guess like it probably does deserve like a 3 or possibly even less. I mean, there's not really anything of value here. Like, there's no reason to consume this.
Nope.
It's more like I was surprised.
Well, there is one reason.
Offensive as it could have been.
There is one reason to consume this anime. Yeah. Soy. The ending is the banger of the season. I can already confirm. It's the Soy Boy anthem, and you should just go listen to it because it has the sounds soy in it a few times, which is enough to deem it the Soy Boy anthem for all time. And at the end, you see all the ninjas appearing, and it's all like, yes, the Soy Boys uniting. Yeah. We're coming out to fight the modern era problems. Oh no, I can't figure out how to text my girl back. I need a ninja to save me and solve my Soy Boy problem. Oh no, my son is retarded and doesn't know how to draw. So instead of beating him the way a real man would, I'll I don't know, emotionally support him or whatever. Soy Boy move. I appreciate on that level. That's pretty cool.
The soy ninjas are coming to town. So not as bad as I would have thought that the worst ranked show of the season should be compared to some of the other ones that we've covered.
You should never forget, though, and there's a little loophole in our system here, which is a bunch of the shows don't even get ratings, so they can't qualify. Maybe worse shows exist, but they're off the charts, so who knows? Who knows?
Should you watch Ninja Collection? No.
No, there's no need.
No need. You could watch Yami Shibai if you're interested in the idea of it.
This does make me want to check it out a little bit.
But there's like hundreds of them, I think, at this point of episodes. So.
I'm not going to go watch those.
No, fuck that. Well, you should be supporting KHANTENT on Subscribestar because we have bonus content
That's
we're
right.
also going to be recording today.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we are still covering the shows that we've already had videos come out about, but we'll also be covering, well, I guess the ReZero Part 1 will come out before this.
Correct.
So, yeah, those are the things. The other shows that we're already covering, ReZero, and bonus episodes through the subscribe
Just for
star,
the $10
right
subscribe
there.
star backers, click the link down below and support us. Bonus content's coming. You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Alrighty.
See you next Canton, everybody. Canton! Tales from the Bottom is back.